Hi, I'm Diane Hall with AARP Missouri, and I'd like to welcome you to Functional Movement. This is the 7th week of our 8-week class created and led by Tyler Ferguson, who will continue to put the fun in functional movement. So one more class to go, and it has gone by so fast. Now be thinking about what you liked and what you might want to be different. An evaluation will be coming your way, and we always take your feedback into account. And that said, functional movement is designed to build both strength and flexibility to carry out everyday tasks and let you improve your level of fitness regardless of where you're starting. Now, speaking of fitness, you can find many of our previous fitness classes on Missouri's YouTube channel at youtube.com/C/AARPMO. Functional movement is a class that's suitable for many levels of fitness. However, you know your own limitations. Please do not try to go beyond what you know is right for you. If you have any concerns at all, please check with your doctor before participating in this or any other AARP fitness offering. Now, AARP Missouri also offers other live fitness classes. Currently, we have a list at the link that I gave you. You can have links to past programs like Forever Fit and Yoga with Tyler that you can participate in from those recordings. But you can find the links to current, past, and upcoming programs at aarp.org/movingit. All of our programming is created with people age 50 plus in mind, but it's good for anyone of any age, and with this new virtual age, anywhere. AARP does hope that our fitness classes like functional movement will be great options for anyone who may not be able to, or may be a little hesitant to attend a traditional fitness class, like caregivers, or for those who might have a health concern, or just for the convenience of working out at home. In addition to our online fitness classes, AARP has resources for caregivers, up-to-date COVID-19 information, and technology information on our website at aarp.org/nearyou. Now let's get started with functional movement. Our instructor is Tyler Ferguson. Tyler, let the functionality begin.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to class number 7. Can you hear me okay? Yeah,
Yep.
You can hear me okay. All right, great. We'll start standing. So you can take, if you're rolling out your feet, you can take your ball and set it to the side somewhere where you won't trip over it. And then just allow that elasticity or that length or that space that you created in your feet. Allow yourself to feel it a little bit. Just rocking back and forth, spreading toes, shifting weight from toe to heel. And only lift your heel as high as that feels safe and good to you. And then allow yourself to find some stillness rooted down in your feet. Big toe mound, piggy toe mound, and heel of each foot is equally connecting to the earth. In other words, the weight is distributed in those points equally in the feet. Now, starting to activate the legs, we can find our little corkscrew action in the legs if you've been with me before. So even though the feet are sort of spinning on the mat, you feel that in your hips. Maybe the glutes turn on when you do that. Maybe you feel some muscles on the insides or the outsides of the inner thigh turn on. And then notice if the shoulders are hunching forward, can you fight gravity and bring yourself up nice and tall? Chest is lifted, heart is forward. And then place your hands on your rib cage if this is comfortable for you. Notice when you did that, if you sent your shoulders up into your ears. Can you draw your shoulders down, relax in the shoulders, but place the hands on the rib cage? And then breathe in through the nose. Can you feel your ribs move and expand? And then purse your lips on your exhale. Trying to press the air out and feel the rib cage, each rib cage move back to the midline. Let's just try that for a few rounds of breath. On the inhale, can you feel the ribs expanding into the side? You might feel them expand backwards into your back body. That's fine. And then pursing your lips, feeling the ribs move back together. Continue breathing in this way, but notice if you start to get dizzy because you're exhaling so much air. So don't participate in this breath work in a way that it makes you lightheaded or dizzy. So stay safe in this breath work. And it's also okay with your hands to push and assist the ribs back. So we want to get them nice and mobile. We'll do another drill later on in class to mobilize the rib cage. So we're going to prime our airways, prime our lungs to get ready for class. One more inhale, expand the rib cage. Fill up, exhale. Push it all out. Bring your hands up across your chest and then lift your eye gaze up, lift your chin up like you're going to look at the ceiling and open up the skin in the front of the throat. But notice if you're just throwing your head back on your shoulders. Can you try to stay a little long in the back of the neck? And then draw the chin down to the chest, nice and slow, slow. It's not about getting there and waiting for what's next. It's about taking all this time to arrive. Notice how far the chin comes to the chest and what sensation you get. As you lift the chin and perform this movement again, feel the connection of your feet grounding in the earth. Maybe feel the action of corkscrewing in the legs, or at the very least, maybe bringing the legs, draw the chin down again, bringing the legs toward one another like you're squeezing a beach ball in between your upper thighs. Move nice and slow. Continue to breathe through this movement. You might even close your eyes, that's fine. And then bring your eye gaze right back up to the screen. Drop your knuckles, bring your arms out to the sides. Hands are bladed, fingers are together, and then rotate and look over one shoulder. As you arrive, press your fingertips to the opposite walls a little bit more, broaden across the rib cage, then release that stretch a little bit. Bring your head back to center and turn your head the other direction. As far as you can rotate, nice and slow, just exploring your end range. Reach, reach, reach with your fingers and come back to center. One more time. Make sure you continue to breathe as you do this. And then notice, we're just finding rotation in the neck here. So notice if you're trying to use your shoulders to move, if you're dipping your chin, if you're tilting your head, no dips, no tilts. We're just staying right here with rotation. Bring yourself back to center. When you bring back to center, drive your knuckles down to the ground, shoulders away from the ears. Now we get the tilt. Right ear comes to right shoulder, left jaw pulls up to the ceiling. You should feel a nice long stretch in the elongated side. Now to switch, we're going to bring the chin down to the chest, bend the knees. Left ear goes to left shoulder, right shoulder pulls down and away as right jaw pulls up to the ceiling. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale through the nose now, chin down and switch. I just did the mouth, sorry. Said nose, did mouth. Big inhale. Exhale, chin down and switch. It's hard to talk and breathe out through your nose. Big inhale here. Exhale, chin down and switch. Come back to center. Inhale your arms up to the sides. And then exhale your arms down. Try to connect this to the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. So move with your own breath rather than moving with the speed of my arms. I'm going to try to move with my breath. So this is our first step in bringing your awareness inwards and letting you dictate your movement, being your own coach, moving with your own breath. I'm here to guide you and offer you suggestions, but I really want you to trust your inner instincts. So just this idea of moving with your own breath, even though I'm giving a slightly different cue with my hands, with my breath, I want you to disconnect from me and experience this in your own body. If it feels safe to go up and reach overhead, you can do that. Inhale your arms up. Can't see my hands on the screen, but my palms are together. And then exhale, palms come down towards the earth. Inhale it up one more time. Palms come toward one another, and then start reaching for the stars. So as one arm reaches up to the stars, the other arm comes down, the other elbow comes down to allow you to find just a much more length on that one side. You can shift the weight slightly between the feet as you reach for the stars. Continue to breathe as you do this. And then last time, bring your fingertips to the back of your head. Elbows are out wide, and then bring them back. Press them forward. Bring the elbows back and press them forward. So just feel that gentle stretch. Don't bring them so far back that it's not comfortable for you. Just get used to bringing the elbows back and forward, and then come to this position as wide as it feels safe for you. Plant in the feet again, corkscrew, slight bend in the knees. Drop your elbow down to the side as the opposite elbow moves in the opposite direction. Good. Let's stay on the same side. I'm going to cue right since it's my right elbow that's going down. As my right elbow goes down, I'm going to push or bring awareness to my opposite leg, opposite foot. So I can feel the stretch. Pause here from the foot all the way up to the opposite elbow up in the air. So that big length, for me, it would be on my left side because my right elbow is down. Last time, come back up to center. Separate your hands from or take them off your head. Bring your hands together out in front. Make your pointer finger. And then push the arms forward without taking them up into the ears. So push them forward. Notice maybe your shoulder blades are separating from one another. Just notice the stretch that you get there. Feel that in your back body, maybe in your shoulders or arms. Keep breathing, my friends. And then separate your hands. Expand your chest. Bring your heart forward. Hands kind of go back between or behind the shoulders. And notice if you're arching. Don't let your belly dump and arch your back. Just work in your upper part of your body, the upper half of your spine, rib cage spine. And then again, shoot the fingertips forward, opening up the rib cage, the scapula, working your thoracic or middle spine area. Separate the hands, big chest expansion. You might feel some stretching. And then notice if the elbows are bent. Good. Go ahead and lock out the elbows. Get the biceps stretched. Good. And then bring your hands back behind your head. Plant your feet. Corkscrew your feet down into the earth. Feel rooted and grounded. Start to move to the opposite side. And then notice the relationship between this lateral bend and how rooted you are into the earth. How connected are you with big toe mound, piggy toe mound, and heel of each foot? Do you have that little twisty, corkscrewy sensation going on? That sensation should be traveling up into the hips, not just ending at the knee. Okay, so when I give that twisting sensation, I don't want you to take all that twist just in the knee. It's going to travel up the leg. Pause over to the side, push through that opposite leg. Feel the stretch. Just experience it all the way up from the elbow to the floor, back up to center. 2 more times, pressing over, continuing to breathe this whole time. Last time. My trusty assistant Oz is going to help. Maybe he might demonstrate some exercises today. Come back up to center. Hands go on thighs. This time, actually take your fingertips, press them into the creases of your hip. Push your seat back behind you. Notice you're not rounding in the back here. Pull your heart forward, and let's sit back. Place our hands right on the thighs, and then tuck and release your tail a little bit. And I think several weeks ago, I gave you the cue of what muscle group are you using to tuck and release your tail? Can you tap into your hamstrings? And notice how contracting the hamstrings helps you draw the pelvis into a tuck. You can use your core to do it, but can you instead feel the relationship between the hamstrings and that tuck? Good. Now come to neutral here. Press your hands into your thighs and round your back and tuck. So a big cat pose. And then take your hands and pull up towards your hips as you let your chest go forward and make your tail get sassy. Elbows drive back. Push, straighten out the arms, round your spine. Chin is down to the chest. Pull your hands back, bend the elbows, send the heart forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, press away, look down. Inhale, look up. And make your way back to standing. Now, if you manage to grab that little item, go ahead and put it in your hand. If you didn't manage to get that item, don't worry about it. We can have an imaginary little prop in our hands. This is called the teacup drill. So I want you to imagine you're holding a tray, and we're just going to work the right hand first. And it's like you have a teacup and you're on the saucer. So here's where we're going with this. You're going to turn your hand into your belly button, take your elbow out, and bring it back behind you. Yeah. And then take it long. Bring it over. Don't come to your knees. Over your head. And bring it right back to where we went. So that's a little test of your range of motion in your shoulder. So I don't want you to force anything, and you shouldn't feel any pain, but notice if you dropped your thing trying to work around that movement. So here we go. Teacup comes in towards the belly. As the elbow reaches out, you come beyond your back. From here, you take the arm long, bring it across your body, over your head, sweep around, and there you are, back in your teacup. One more time. So I grew up in Oakville, Missouri, went to Oakville High School, and there was a beloved teacher at Oakville High School. He was my soccer coach and my mass media and my English teacher, Dave Robin. He just passed away last week. But in the 80s, when I played soccer, he taught us this. So now, but I've learned it in my other movement classes. Take your item and put it in your opposite hand. We're going to go in towards the midline, back out and around, sweeping up and overhead, and serving it right back in front of you. So I'm dedicating this little teacup practice to my former teacher and coach. There was a write-up about him in the paper, in the Post-Dispatch on Sunday. If you have it, you might read it if you haven't already. He was a pretty phenomenal guy. There you go. There's our teacup drill for mobility this morning. You could also reverse it, but I want to keep moving on in the interest of getting all of our stuff done in class today. Okay, let's begin our work, shall we? Feet are hips distance apart. Send your hips back behind you. Hands go on thighs. Let's work the shoulders a little bit here. I want you to press them down away from the ears. Get a little bend in the elbow, just like we did in that cow pose, but we're not arching the back at all. But I want you to get active in the arms. Inhale down, and then press up and stand tall. As you sit back, can you drive your elbows back? And when I say drive, I don't mean give me 180% and hurt yourself. I just mean, can you find that activation? Can you find that by touching the hands to the thighs and getting that connection there, you can get some activation in the chest, right? By drawing shoulders away from ears, engaging lats, driving the elbows back and then toward one another, towards the middle of your back, can really help you light up your back. Now we're just performing these squats. Now, move at the speed that feels safe to you, move at the depth that feels safe to you. But here's what I want you to think about in today's squat. A lot of times we talk about, hey, we do these squats so you can practice sitting in your favorite chair or practice getting on and off the commode. But today I want you to practice standing tall. So it's not really about how low we go, but it is about how tall you stand. I do think that because we're in a seated position a lot, we forget to stand fully tall, have the full expression of extension in our hips. So how do we get there? We've talked about this before. Stand tall with me. Push the front part of your hips forward without arching your back. Okay, so this is not what I want you to do. I don't want you to push your hips forward by arching your back. Keep your shoulders where they are and just push your hips forward without locking out your knees. It's subtle, but it should feel good, right? Should feel like a little stretch. And then here's a little added bonus. If you engage or hug your glute muscle to the bone at the top, that'll give you just a little bit more space to explore in the front of the hips. All right, last one. And stand tall with me. Now we're going to move to the right. Some of you, we're right here, just stepping to the right, not a lot of bend in the knees, just getting used to moving lateral, right? Laterally. Others, you're going to step to the right and then stay home. Just keep it nice and wide and stay home. If you want to get dynamic with me, step, wide and squat, and back. Now on those wide and squat, make sure both knees bend and make sure your chin, chest, pelvis equally between both feet. You can still add elbows. Some of you stay here. Some of you might want to go arms up. Press back, arms up. That's your cardio portion of this work, is bringing, well, it accentuates the cardio. So it'll feel more like a cardio exercise with your arms up overhead. If you start to get winded or dizzy, take your arms out of the equation and then regress the exercise to whatever feels good to you, even if it's just stepping out and stepping back. When you land in your wide squat, can you transfer weight to both feet? So you're asking your brain, can you surrender that one leg, transfer to both legs, and then go back up to that one leg? Let's go 3. We're going to meet in a balance. 2. So wherever you are, 1, can we meet in this balance? Bring your hands to heart center. Use a chair or a wall for balance. Pick up this opposite leg and kick your leg, opposite leg, just forward a little bit and start to find ankle circles. Spread your toes nice and wide, like we do in our toe warm-up exercises. We didn't get those today yet. I'm going to use those as a cool down. And then bring your knee up and place it down. March it out, swing your arm, and then really swing your arms. So I said when we did our breath, we're going to do another exercise for the rib cage. So let the power, let the pull of your wrists swinging forward, rotate your chest, rotate your rib cage on your spine. So my head's not really moving or dipping or tilting, just getting my rib cage to move pretty independently. My hips, I might twist a little bit, but I'm pretty far, they're pretty straight relative to my rib cage twisting. And let's bring it out. Come back to center. We're going to step to the left now. All right. So some of you stay just with your stepping. Change into different expressions of this exercise as you see fit. You can follow me, or you can, within this realm of work, choose any of these exercises. Stepping, stationary wide squat to tap, reach arms up overhead. So any of those variations are fine. What we're doing is, when you squat wide, notice if your toes are pointing forward. Notice if you can step that opposite leg out and keep your toes turning forward. The tendency can be to externally rotate the hip as you step. So the cue to get that, I'm moving a little fast. Sorry, I had real espresso and not decaf this morning. I'll slow it down. Remember though, when we breathed earlier, and you got to make it your experience, I'm guiding you, but you're not necessarily doing what I'm doing. Good. Anyway, to get that toe to face forward, think about leading more with the heel or the ankle than the toe. 3 and 2. How's your heart rate? Mine's getting up a little bit. I was going fast there. And 1. Pause with your hands up overhead. Single leg balance. Bring your hands into prayer or chair or a wall. Kick your opposite leg out. Spread your toes and find some nice, juicy ankle circles. And bring your opposite leg down. This time, instead of bringing your arms front and back, you're going to rotate. You're going to use your hips to initiate the rotation here before we use the arms to initiate. Now you're going to use your hips to initiate and let the arms just swing and hang and wrap around your body. So this is a nice little tug on the shoulder tissues, the weight of the hands, just tugging as you just surrender the arms. You don't try to control the movement. Meet me back and center after this one. We're going to work on that front lunge. So even though I really like the toes to point forward in most things we do, you can go ahead and turn the toes out a little bit, and then you're going to step forward and come back. So what we're playing with here is, yes, I want you to move forward. Yes, you need to keep moving into the future, all right? But don't move into the future forgetting your past. Don't leave your past behind, right? So what are our lessons from the past? Well, can you pause with me here? Pause with me here in your front step. Can you turn on that rear glute? The heel is lifted here. Notice this. If you put your heel down and try to turn on your glute, now lift your heel up and try to turn it on. I'm able to connect it more. And I wonder if you have that same experience. So really, really turn that thing on. Now come down into your lunge. Oops, here we go. Come down into your lunge. Now stay connected to your glute. Use that to pull you back. Stay connected. Use that to pull you back. Now, there's another little element that's important to you. What's going on in your trunk? Okay? If your shoulders are leaning and they're aligned with your knee, it's going to be a lot of pressure forward. Try to keep your shoulders right over your hips. Stay engaged with that back glute. And then that should make sense for you. You'll notice when I land, I go toe heel. And my knee, the front leg knee, isn't going very far over my toes, and my heel stays down in the front. Once it goes down, it stays down. We're going to do one more. Turn on that glute. Pull yourself back, not only with the glute, but with your core. You're pulling yourself back. All right, we're going to work that leg just a little bit more. Peel the leg that was stepping forward, peel that heel up. Come to your balance. Wall or chair is okay to hold on to. And then you're going to do a single leg squat. Tap your foot out in front. You can come to the middle and hold or hover. Squat again in this left leg. Tap it outside. Hold and hover. Reach back behind you. Come up, hold, or tap. Either one is fine. And then reach to the opposite side. And then come up. Now, we had a good question last week. March it out about how far do we go in each of these? I'm going to give you the angle. We'll do it one more time. Peel up your opposite leg, or same side of the body. I'm sorry, same side. Tap it out in front. Only go as far front as it makes sense that you can keep your weight in your plant leg. Same with reaching to the side. Same with reaching back. You don't have to go any further back than the range that makes sense for you. And then the same with reaching behind. You don't have to go so far you lose your integrity of your trunk. Reach and come back. All right. Is that enough for that leg for a while? I bet, huh? Okay. I'm going to step forward now. Opposite side. So this foot can turn out a little bit. Notice my toes are just turning to the edge a little bit, finding a little bit of space. And then you're practicing moving into the future. But how are you going there? Mindlessly or mindfully? Okay, so move to the future, plant yourself, and peel up your back heel, then start to make the connection along the whole leg. So feel the big toe mound and piggy toe mound of your back leg. Turn on your leg all the way up into the glute. Maybe give yourself a little knee bend, shoulders over the hips. Feeling that. Good. When you stand up tall, can you squeeze the glute? Stand up tall, squeeze and pull yourself back. Send yourself forward. Use your core to keep your shoulders at home. As you stand up, squeeze and pull yourself back. Your hands can go on your hips while you do this. Hands can go sphere of tension. But just notice the tendency to shove the shoulders forward. We don't want that. We want to stay nice and upright in the trunk. Front foot is landing, toe heel. I like to put my hands on my hips when I do this, I think. All right, so here we go. Boldly charging into the future, but remembering all the lessons from our past and incorporating them into our journey. Let's go 3. Connect your breath to your movement. 2. And 1. Come back to center. We're going to keep working that leg. Peel opposite heel up. Here we go. Tap it forward. Hover or tap. Tap it wide. Hover or tap. Back behind. I'm banging into the wall. Hover or tap. And then behind opposite leg. Hover or tap. One more time. Well, actually, let me give you a break on the legs. I'm going to hit that same leg again. Plant it. Peel up opposite heel. Hey, what's going on with your knee here, y'all? You locked out? Huh? I get that light, nice little micro bend. Can you find that corkscrew action in this single leg? You might experience it is pulling the thigh to the midline. Here we go. Tap it, hover, tap to the side, hover, back behind, hover, opposite side, and hover. Let's march it out. And then take the legs just a little bit wider. Lift and spread your toes here. Place them down on the mat. Soften your knees, stand tall. One more time. Lift and spread your toes wide. Put your big toes down. Lift big toes up. Put 4 toes down and keep your big toes lifted. Big toes down, 4 toes up. 4 toes down, big toes lifted. All 10 toes lift, spread them, place them down on the mat. Sit your hips back into a squat. Chest is forward, elbows back, strong in the spine. So I want you to keep your chest lifted. I don't want you to be in here. All right, chest is lifted. Sit back, stand tall. Now start to look over your shoulder. But even though you're looking back behind you, maybe to see who's watching you, in awe of your willingness to come and do work today and commit to your wellness, you're looking back and you're giving them a little wink and you're like, yep, I'm taking care of myself today. But even though you got that twist in the neck or in the cervical spine, everything else is tracking in this, well, what we call the sagittal plane. So this forward and backwards, right? So the knees are still tracking forward, hips are tracking right back behind the heels. All right, here we go. That little box of inspiration. Let's pick it up and hold it, right? So again, now that twist that I had in my cervical spine with the eyes, I'm taking it into the trunk more. So feel how the rib cage twists a little bit, but below the hips, you're still squatting, right? We're not dumping into one leg or the other. We're keeping equal weight and work in both legs. If you're struggling with that, tear the ground apart a little bit as you sit back, pull your feet apart. So keep the work in both legs and then share it. Oh, actually, let's do this. High five the person in your next screen. Just turn around and give them a high five for their wellness today. And if you're on the end, the screen isn't flat, it's a sphere. So just know that your high five is, I don't know why I just said it, your high five is traveling around and hitting the Hollywood square screen of someone else. Let's go for 3. Sit the hips back, and 2, feel that rotation that we primed in our trunk, and 1, pivot your toes. What? Look at that. So we just pivoted our toes. Left toes are facing forward, right toes are facing forward, and you want to be on train tracks here. You don't want to be on a tightrope when you spin forward. You want to be in train tracks. Feet are apart. Good. Now, peel up that back heel and shift your leg or shift your weight to your front leg. So knee is right over the ankle. And you can hold onto the wall for this, but I want you, that's how much weight is in the front leg, which is all of it. So this back leg, it's just a kickstand for balance. You're not shifting weight there. Toe down in the back leg, weight in the front leg, micro bend in the knee. Take your hands, put them in your hips. Pretend like you have heavy grocery bags. You're going to hinge down and then pull back up. Hinge down, back is flat. So you're not rounding at your spine, my friends. You're not hollowing out your chest and rounding like a cat pose. Pull your heart forward, keep your back nice and flat. Little single leg deadlifts here. So you should be feeling quite a bit of fatigue in the glute and hamstring of that front leg. 3 and 2. Hopefully you're feeling it in the glute and the hamstring, backside. And 1, bring it back up. Can you pivot your toes back forward? Good, bring your feet together. Just march that out a little bit. Let the arms swing, let the rib cage rotate, and we'll take the whole series onto the other side. So take the feet a little bit wide, lift and spread the toes here, place the toes down on the mat, and then slightly pull the pads of the toes back to your heels. This is called short foot. So I was talking to Diane before class about different ways to counteract some of the effects of plantar fasciitis. And the short foot is another one. Lift and spread the toes, place the pads of the toes down, and then pull the pads towards the heels. Feel the arches lift and strengthen. And then lift and spread the toes one more time. Place them down. Sit your hips back, hands on your thighs, elbows. They're not only coming back, the elbows, but they're working towards the midline. Okay? So you're going to sit down, look over your shoulder, and then stand tall. Now, if that wasn't enough, I'll let you settle into this one. A lot of instructions. So we talked about how everything in the body is moving in that sagittal plane, which is that forward and back plane. Front, chest is going forward, knees are going forward, hips are moving back, right? That plane. But then we have this little rotation in the neck happening. And that rotation can kind of confuse you and make you want to shift where you put your weight. So we're training ourselves to manage that input. Now we're going to add trunk rotation into the mix. So our head turns as we look down and we pick up this package, this bit of inspiration, this gift from me to you, this gift from you to yourself for showing up today, right? So just notice how you resolve the rotating. And if there's a desire to shift your weight, shift your hips, and then how do you counteract it? Start to tear the ground apart with your feet a little bit. Make sure your hips, your knees are working in that sagittal plane. High five. Twist, reach across the opposite arm. High five your buddy. What is the sound of one high five in the grid? That was your Zen moment right there. I don't know. What I was really trying to say is, even though you're high-fiving a buddy and they're high-fiving someone else, isn't that cool, that continuation in the journey of congratulating, supporting one another? Let's finish it out. 3, connect the breath to the movement. 2, remember we're sitting here, not hinging forward. And 1, arm is across the body, pick and pivot the toes. Now you're facing the side of the room. Peel the back heel to shift your weight into your front foot. Have a nice soft micro bend of the knee. Hold on if you need to for balance, but commit. Make sure that your weight is in your front foot by lifting the back foot. And then reach the toes down. Take your hips back and behind. Now notice right here, when your hips go back, where is your right glute? Is it drifting off the mat to the side? Is that how you're finding balance? So pull your hip back behind your heel, and then you're going to lower your trunk, reach your arms down like you have grocery bags, and come back up. Notice if you want to try to shift your weight to your back leg, really feel the heel of that front leg connecting to the earth and driving the movement. So in your back body, sometimes we cue the shoulder blades coming together. That's how we want to feel in our back. We don't want to feel rounded. We want to feel more flat, like our shoulder blades are working toward one another. A little single leg deadlift. You know what I haven't been doing? I haven't been standing up tall at the top. What? I'm so busy talking and I forget that cue. Stand tall. Let's go 2 more. Stand tall. And last one. Stand tall. And pivot yourself back to the center. Toe heel your feet out wide. Let your toes turn out a little bit. Bring your arms out wide. Shoulders or palms go up and down. Now start to pull the feet together a little bit. Feel the glutes turn on. Soft bend in the knees. And reach the fingertips to opposite walls. I'm going to move forward just so you can see what's happening. But that even though I'm cueing the palms up and down, you can see that rotation is happening in the shoulders. Good. 3 and 2 and 1. Palms are down. You're just reaching back, back, back. Just blading your hands back. Find the power stance in your feet. Connecting your feet to the earth. Feeling the power of the connection of the feet into the earth. Travel up the legs all the way to the glutes. They're turned on. Maybe you're drawing your feet together. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you're going to climb your rope. So if this feels okay in your shoulders, you're just reaching up, grabbing your rope, pulling down. But as you're pulling the rope down, you're going to have the sensation that you're making progress, that you're moving up the rope. So there's a lot going on overhead right now. Stay nice and grounded in the feet. Good work. 5 and 4 and 3. Really grip the rope. 2. Make a fist, open hands and grab. And 1. Shake it out. Feet are nice and wide. Turn the toes toward the camera. Bring your hips back behind that heel. We're going to lower down and then straighten out that leg. Now, the goal of this exercise is to try to put the weight in the back part of your body. So that cue of pulling the hip back behind the knee is going to help you load the heel of your foot, or even better, it's where the heel, the front part of the heel, starts to meet the arch. Load that and then push away and stand tall. Load that, push away and stand tall. Should really feel your glute or your backside working. The less desirable version of this would be to send the knee forward and let the quad and the knee doing the work. That's not what we're doing. We're coming back behind like we're doing this single-legged squat, right? Good. 5, 3, 2. I know I skipped 4 because I got really confused. And 1. Stand tall. Start to move your hips in some gentle circles. And then if those feel safe, you can make your circles a little bit bigger. Take your circles in the other direction. And then come over to the opposite leg. So I'm going to do this on the other side. Pull your hip back behind your heel, long and strong through your chest, lower down, press up nice and tall. So this is a lunge rather than a squat, a sideways lunge. So you'll notice this leg is staying long the whole time. It's there as kind of that kickstand really, because what we're doing is like a single-legged squat here, right? Notice what pattern you fall into. Notice if you fall into the pattern of just sending the knee forward and asking your quad and your knee to do the work. So that's a pretty typical pattern to go right into the quad here. Takes a little bit more consciousness or intention to put the work in the back side of your body. Remember, if I'm going too fast for you, you slow it down and you go your speed. Remember that I had full espresso today, not decaf. that can influence the speed that I move. All right. Now, are you connecting your heel? Can you feel the connection when you're lower down and when you push off from your heel all the way up into your glute? Let's go 4. Are you standing up tall? 3 and 2 and 1. Keep your toes turned out. Bring your hips back behind the right heel and then shift back behind the left heel. So now, can you shift right to left? Maybe take one hand on each thigh. Then here we go. What's in this drawer? I don't know. Oh, maybe it's down in this drawer. I'm going to take my stuff out of the dishwasher. Put it on the counter? No, I'm going to put it on the shelf. All right, there you go. Now, some of you might get your trunk a little bit lower and your hips back a little bit further. If this doesn't feel good, don't do it. If it does, go ahead and give it a try. Now, I'm looking up at the camera, so I'm not giving you a very good example of where my neck should be. If you're choosing this lower one, get a little bit of length in the back of your neck. 3, 2, and 1. Wherever you are, bring yourself up slowly. Toe heel your feet together. Inhale your arms up. Reach up, look up. Exhale, swing your arms down to the sides. Inhale up, look up, reach up. Squeeze the glutes. Don't arch the back. Exhale, bend your knees a little bit, drop your shoulders. Look up, through the mouth, we'll sweep. Exhale, sweep it out. Let it go. 2 more. This is it. And we are done with our class today. It's a pleasure and an honor to share this with you. I'll see you next week.